This episode is brought to you by SureTest. Transform and revolutionize your health system's application testing process with SureTest Managed Test Automation Solution, SureManage. Eliminate 80% or more of your manual testing activities, reducing errors and reclaiming thousands of hours for your staff to focus on more rewarding, strategic projects. Continuous testing is critical, and getting it right saves lives. Discover the future of healthcare IT automation with SureTest. Visit thisweekhealth.com/SureTest today and elevate your healthcare system's performance.
Today on Newsday.
I want somebody that is a relationship builder, real relationships, is not a transactional salesperson that can really work with a client to solve a real problem. So I don't want anyone that does transactional anything.
My name is Bill Russell. I'm a former CIO for a 16-hospital system and creator of This Week Health, where we are dedicated to transforming healthcare one connection at a time. Newsday discusses the breaking news in healthcare with industry experts. Now, let's jump right in.
All right, here we are. It's Newsday, and we are reporting on the last day of Vive 2025, and a fitting end to this. I'm with Laura O'Toole, CEO, one of the founders of SureTest.
Yeah.
Fitting into this conference in that we got snow last night, and everybody
Left.
for
Yeah,
the,
yeah.
for the doors. It's a relaxing, fun day to really talk to people and whatnot, and I'm glad to get a chance to catch up with you.
Yeah, it's always awesome to talk to you, and woke up this morning, saw the snow, and saw that Nashville doesn't know how to deal with snow. It wasn't plowed, there was no salt, people falling down on their face. It's been a great vibe for us and great to see everybody as always.
Every time I've walked past here, you've been at this table with clients or
Yeah.
whoever you were talking
Yeah.
to. The interesting thing about this conference, I don't think that people recognize, is there's money people walking around here,
Yes.
as well as buyers and whatnot. So I saw you with, I have no idea who you were talking to. I saw some of the CIOs, I remember.
Yeah,
but
right.
Robin was here
Yeah,
from
yeah.
UVA. And,
Yeah, we had a lot of our clients stop by, a lot of our prospects stop by. We had a very busy booth, and yes, it is true that you could spend your whole day, I think, when you're a company like SureTest, just fielding calls from people that want to give you money. And it's nice to say, I don't need any money right now, I'm okay. But we're getting to that
I want
inflection
I want
point.
that to happen more to me is, hey, would you like some money? No, so
We're getting there, though. You want to really scale and grow a company, there gets to a
Yeah,
point where it's time.
as a founder of a company like yours, a software venture that's
Yeah.
growing and taking on more clients, you always have to have those relationships. You never know when that next step is going to happen.
When it's like anything, Bill, you always hear me say all the time, I don't want to be a vendor. I want to be a partner, and I want to be a partner with my clients. And it's important when you make that next step that you get a good partnership.
I was trying to figure out from a Newsday perspective, there was
So many.
a plethora of announcements and whatnot that happened. I went through the announcements, and I don't really want to talk about any of the announcements. None of them like blew me off. Oh my gosh,
Right.
we've got to talk about this. Here's what I want to talk about. You have this conference. Some booths I go to, people are like, oh, it was a dud. Other people I go to is like, this was great. What makes it great? I do consulting for some people.
Yep.
I don't get paid, but I do some advising for some people. And when we talk about the conference, I'm like, look, your conference is set before you even get here.
Yes.
If you do the right pre-work, you're
Right.
going to have a great conference. If
Exactly
you don't do
right.
the right pre-work and you wait for people to come by your booth, you're going to be severely disappointed.
Absolutely. You think about our clients' time and the demand for their time. You want to make sure that you're in long time in advance, letting them know what you want to meet about, what you want to talk about, and you've got a plan for it. If you just sit back and wait for it to happen, you're never going to see what you want to see.
There was Khalid had a great
Oh my
post.
God, that was so good. And with what you're doing, I've already told you, I just think it's awesome and so important. It was great.
We were actually talking about this before I read Khalid's post. We were talking about this. We're walking by some booths, and everyone in the booth is on their phone.
Yeah.
No one's even making eye contact with me or anything like
Yeah.
that. And just as a team, we're like, what is that commute? I understand you have to get work done and that kind of stuff, but there has to be a right way to have a booth. I noticed you had a person
Yes, yes.
who was greeting people the whole time. And the booths that maybe are at scale or whatever, they all have a person
Right,
who's there to say, hey, your meeting's in a couple minutes.
right, exactly right.
That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
What else struck you about that post?
Oh my gosh. When he said, don't send the email that says, hey, it was nice seeing you, we had coffee, and what you talked about was completely wrong. You
Yeah.
just didn't even be present enough to really be able to follow back up on what was meaningful to the conversation that you had.
Yeah.
I just couldn't believe it. And I was like, oh my gosh, I've seen that so many times. We talk about these investors and whatnot, and I'm like, what? Was that even me that you spoke to? And it's the same thing for our clients, right? Being present is what struck me.
I was getting scanned at a badge because I stopped to pick up something. I don't know, lip balm or something.
Yeah.
Which is my favorite thing to pick up.
We have the best one here.
Oh, do you?
I thought I gave you a couple.
SureTest
yesterday.
lip balm. There you go.
It is the best. People come back year after year and say, do you have more of those lip balms?
But as they were scanning my badge, I looked at Jairus. I said, I will get an email. I'll get an email about, hey, have you considered blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And I'll be like, I have a 15-person company.
Right.
We don't deliver any care. We have no doctors on staff. And I will get, and by the way, I won't get that one email. I'm in their funnel. I will get a series of emails, probably through HIMSS.
Yeah. I'll tell you, we use Pardot, we use some of these tools, but when it comes to connecting directly with our clients and the Gala, the one that's making sure that our engines all run, I'm like, these emails, if I want to connect with a client, they need to come from me. I need to send it. Don't do it through some engine. So I thought his post was enlightening, hysterical. I really enjoyed it.
We've actually segmented our email. And one of the reasons we did this is so we send a lot of emails to health systems for our events and that kind of stuff. A number of them have said, hey, your stuff's getting blocked. And when we looked at it, like we could send them an email, like I could send them an email and it got through, but from our CRM, it recognized it was coming from a CRM and it blocked all those emails in order to alleviate their inbox.
That's exactly right.
crowding.
What happened?
And so we've gotten to the point where I send out emails, almost the equivalent of a handwritten note now. The email came from me and it's connects.
Absolutely. And you can use those tools for certain things, but you've got to be pretty strategic about how you use them versus when you really need to have a meaningful connection. So I thought his post was great. I think, and what made me think of it when I read his post was knowing what you're doing, right, with your certifications. I love this. I love that some of my team has been helping think through some of that. I think it's fantastic because how do we help each other be better in our space?
Yeah, we just had a meeting on our 229 HCSP certification, which will close by the time people listen to this show. So,
okay, cool.
We're actually closing it today. We did a soft launch, and we have a group of people that are going to help us build it. Actually, it's a group of people's over 100 now. So we have a bunch of people in the community. And one of the things about the 229 project we talk about is leaders in isolation are sure to fail.
Mm-hmm.
Sales professionals in isolation are sure to fail.
Absolutely.
They need each other. They learn from each other. There's value. And so we created an online community. It's really fascinating to see them going back and forth.
I'm seeing it develop, and it's so cool. I'm a big believer in everybody can win.
Yeah.
Everybody can win, and how do we help each other win? So I'm so excited that you've taken on this initiative because I think it's going to make a difference for our CIOs. I think it's going to save them time. They're going to be able to interact when they want to interact. And if you can educate salespeople on how to be respectful and present and all these things that I think matter to people, I think we're all going to be better.
The other thing is helping people to understand what actually goes on at this conference. So as I have 3 former CIOs, one of the things is for us, why do we come to this? We don't want to get our badge scanned, and we don't want to be marketed to, that kind of stuff. However, it's incredibly efficient to have this many of our partners at one place.
Right.
And so we could have 15 meetings in a day.
Yes.
I could let you in on what my strategy is for the upcoming year.
Yeah.
We could talk about various things I'm looking for your company to do, maybe something that's going on with the current project. It's interesting too, because from time to time I would go to these things, I'd sit down with somebody and they go, this project's stuck in contracting. I'd be like, as a CIO, I'm a little disconnected and I'm going, how is this stuck in contract? You got to be kidding me.
Let me tell you, we got a couple over the finish line just in that exact scenario. There's a lot of benefit to having that last little bit of FaceTime that you need to have, getting some barriers broken down. I like what they do with the speed dating because it's a way.
Speed dating. It has an official name.
Oh, I call it speed dating.
Everybody does.
That's what it is, Bill.
Oh gosh, I should know. Hosted buyer meetings.
Hosted buyer meetings.
Like,
Sorry, I call it speed
Holly,
dating.
our camera person, is whispering to us. Hosted buyer meetings. That's the speed dating.
Yeah, but it makes it for the provider to take some cost out of them coming, which I think is great. They get to pick, and there really is a matching capability. I talked to Philip and he said, I had some great meetings and people really leaned in. So depending on what problem you're trying to solve as a provider, you can pick the companies that you want to talk to. I just think it's a great economical way to make it less expensive for the providers to come. And again, it's a win. He loved it.
Let me ask you this. So you went from Steve, who's phenomenal.
Still says Steve's not gone away. He's still here. He just wants to retire a little bit.
Semi-retired Steve, and then you have Philip, who you just brought on. Here's the question I want to ask you. And we'll ask it from two perspectives. What were you looking for in a salesperson? And the second question I want to ask you is, what do you expect a salesperson to do at a conference like this? So let's start with, what were you looking for? Replacing Steve's really hard.
Yeah, it was. So what I said to Steve is, you can go part-time, but you have to find your replacement. And we talked to a lot of candidates. And I told him, I want somebody that is a relationship builder, real relationships, is not a transactional salesperson that can think about sales in a conceptual way, really work with a client to solve a real problem. So I don't want anyone that does transactional anything.
Right.
That was my number one prerequisite. And I wanted somebody that was going to be a good cultural fit with us. The founders of SureTest, we've worked together for a long time. We care a lot about our team. We got Modern Healthcare's Best Places to Work. I think we're number 6 this past year. So we've had essentially no attrition. I wanted someone that was going to be a good fit. And we've added a lot of people. And I think the number one thing I look for is somebody that is resourceful, has integrity, is genuine, and absolutely is focused on the long term and will get behind our solution and cares as much about the quality of our delivery because of their personal reputation as we do.
Right.
So that's what I look for.
That is tip of the spear stuff. When people interact with that person, they're interacting with
Absolutely right.
with your name, your brand, your product, but they're also interacting with your team.
Right.
That could be their first interaction, and it's, oh, I like this team.
Right.
I'm looking forward to. What do you expect from a salesperson at this event?
A lot, probably too much. I expect him to walk away and feel like he made meaningful connections. That's really, at the end of the day, that's what I expect from him. Same thing I expect from us all. That's it. I don't expect him to get any deals signed. I don't expect him to move things way up the funnel. I expect him to walk away saying, I was present and I made some meaningful connections, or I took my connections and my relationships to the next level. And you know what? I helped someone else while I was here. That's
So
important to me.
It's interesting. It's very relationship based. You didn't talk about leads. I didn't hear the word leads out of your mouth once. Is this a good place for leads, or is it more of a moving all the things along?
I believe everything we do is about a building block with relationships. For me, this isn't about getting leads at all. It's about making our relationships.
Because your leads come from your existing relationships.
Exactly right. Our expansions come from our existing relationships. Our referrals all come from our existing relationships. And it's just about moving down the value chain with our clients. I don't expect leads out of a conference like this. And I think a lot of people do, but that's not at the top of my list.
So should we bring them over here? No. Let's have some fun. It's interesting because I'm wondering if people are going to feel like this is a dud because the last day is so dead.
Yeah.
But
I thought it was a great event.
But you had 2 full days.
We had 2 full days
with people.
And not only that, how many days can you have before you're just flat out exhausted?
I know.
And the diminishing returns. Looking at Holly, poor Holly's face. She's done. We're all done. But yeah, it was a great conference.
No, it's fantastic. Laura, I want to thank you. Another Newsday in the books with you.
Always great to
Appreciate
talk to you.
And your supportive captains campaign.
Oh yes, always.
We'll
Sweet
announce
boy.
what the number is, but it's over 15,000.
Yay.
I think we're upwards of closer to 17 or so that we raised at the Vibe
Awesome,
event. So
awesome.
Really exciting.
Awesome.
All right.
Everyone's still coming by to say hi.
Hi to Captain, exactly.
All right, get home safe.
All right, thank you.
See ya.
Thanks for listening to Newsday. There's a lot happening in our industry, and while Newsday covers interesting stuff, another way to stay informed is by subscribing to our daily insights email, which delivers expertly curated health IT news straight to your inbox. Sign up at thisweekhealth.com/news. Thanks for listening. That's all for now.